Hi, I'm here today with David Kirkpatrick, the author of The Facebook Effect, a book looking at the role of Facebook in our economy, in the growth of this company that never seems to stop moving, now up to almost 500 million users, and where it's going, how it got started. David is a longtime contributor to Fortune magazine, and he's here to discuss the book with us today. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Dan. Good to be talking to you, of all people.
Well, it's great to talk to you. We're connecting in person.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about why Facebook. Why did you decide to do this book in the first place?
Well, I decided to write about Facebook simply because I concluded it was likely to become the most important company on the internet, and if it didn't, it would be a fascinating story regardless. And I made that decision about 2 years ago, and I luckily, I think, did not make a mistake.
And as they've grown, obviously one of the biggest complaints about Facebook, or the biggest charges against them, has been that they have violated users' privacy, that they collect so much information about people and they don't really care what happens to it, or they change the rules as they go. As someone who has seen this company from the inside and has talked to more people about Facebook probably than anyone else, what's your take on the company's view on privacy? You know, Mark Zuckerberg was just quoted. It was a journalist last week had a tweet that said that Zuckerberg doesn't care about privacy.
No, that was actually quoting an employee who talked off the record. Right. I have people in my book who are former employees who spent much time quoted by name saying they don't think Zuckerberg believes in privacy. There are plenty of people inside Facebook who would say that. However, I don't think that's the right way to think about it. I don't think it's really a binary privacy, no privacy question. It's a much more complex kind of answer than that. It's really, he believes the world is moving towards transparency. He would like to make it move that way more rapidly. He also believes that if he doesn't give his users enough protection that they feel comfortable using Facebook, he's going to lose them. So he knows he can't alienate his users. It's a question of how quickly he moves the service he believes has to go in that direction toward where he thinks it has to go. And he's made a lot of mistakes in that regard. He's often been able to backtrack quickly once he's made them. And I actually don't think that the mistakes have been, in general, as grievous as they've been portrayed in most instances.
Talking about a company that is already huge, but the way that you frame it is obviously going to be insanely huge. So,
well, I think 500 million is pretty big.
500 million is big, but now
I say they could go to $1 billion. I think, you look at their growth in countries around the world, they're going to $1 billion unless they really screw up, would be my prediction.
Do you have a target date of when you expect an IPO?
I think it'll be as late as possible because Zuckerberg does not want to go public. When they hit the thresholds that the SEC forces them to go public, that they will go public. They're doing their best to keep the number of shareholders below those thresholds because there's an SEC rule that when you have a certain number of shareholders, you've got to go public. He does not want to be constrained. And one of the things about Facebook that's very unique, that is unique since things can't be very unique, is that Zuckerberg has absolute control of the company, more than Bill Gates ever had at Facebook. He controls 3 of 5 board seats. Nothing happens that he doesn't want. If Zuckerberg doesn't want to go public, it will not go public. You've never seen a company of this scale controlled by one individual in this way.
Incredible. All of our information being held by one individual holds that much control in the company. It's obviously going to be
the only thing about that you got to keep in mind is people have all put that information there willingly. Facebook has all that information because people think what they're doing for them is useful.
Right.